We teleported directly to the 100th floor, crossing the room that Veldora was guarding. It was a large chamber whose purpose was to receive the arriving labyrinth challengers, while Veldora's private quarters were situated beside it. There were 2 rooms in total. There was also no sign of Veldora in either of them. Where did Veldora go? He's probably off horsing around somewhere. Oi oi oi, how come the magicule concentration here is so dense? Oh, because that's Veldora's room over there. Don't go inside, the guy is really selfish. You'll piss him off if you touch anything. Ah, so this is where Veldora lives. I was wondering what your relationship was with him back during Walpurgis. We are friends. Good friends. I half guessed that you guys were not just acquaintances, but friends. Well, let's talk about it later. My answer surprised him so much so that even his sleepy eyes suddenly whitened a bit. I see. That explains why Veldora hasn't been easy to detect lately. It's because he's been hiding inside Ramiris' labyrinth this whole time. Oh, that's not it really. His presence disappeared because he learned how to conceal his magicules. That guy used to let his Yaki go wild, so his magicule leakage was all over the place too. Wouldn't it be dangerous if I wanted to attract more people to our nation? That's why I have been telling him to practice and get his Yaki under better control. What? Are you saying you're demanding that egocentric troublemaker, the former guardian of the Great Jura Forest, to listen to you? Moreover, you're commanding him to regulate his Yaki so well that even I couldn't sense it. That Veldora. Can you not make it sound so easy? This was what Dino implied as he feverishly questioned me. Even if what he said were true, it still wouldn't change anything. And that was a fact. Yeah. In fact, he agreed immediately. Otherwise, half of the residents in this town would be dead by now. No, even if you put it that way. Isn't this the Veldora with an insane pull of magicules that we're talking about here? Isn't he the flying catastrophe, the tyrant that everyone fears, the one unleashing his Yaki all the time before the hero sealed him up? People's opinions of him seemed rather negative, but they were probably justified. After all, we had an actual example of a victim. Luminous. From what I had been able to gather, this guy truly had committed all sorts of horrible misdeeds in the past. In any case, that guy's changed a little. Nowadays, if I want to ask him to do something, he'll listen to some degree. He's not that selfish. Weren't you the one who was just complaining about how selfish he was? Did I say that? Answer. Yes, you did. I see. Selfish as he may be, he's not that unreasonable. And concerning the whole deal with controlling his Yaki. It's times like these that I needed to quickly change the subject. I began to describe what had happened when Veldora was released. On the matter of his Yaki, I told him that you'll be super cool if you can suppress it. Since then, he's been practicing hard to mask everything. It was equally tiring coaching him by myself. But the hard work was worth it, otherwise, I couldn't even let Veldora outside. This was something that couldn't be compromised on. Likely out of admiration, Dino's expression shifted slightly as he gazed at me. I understand now. You are quite impressive, Rimuru. I knew you had it in you. No, you only came here to mooch off me. I'm not gonna be swindled by your sweet talk. The fact that you were able to tame Veldora is incredible, Dino complimented, feeling impressed yet again. Veldora wasn't the only selfish one, Milim also. And so, I divulged to Dino about my experience with Milim, how I knew her, and how egocentric she could be. Since Milim wasn't here, I had the rare opportunity to spill my guts. I even generously shared the mess Milim had been giving me recently to Dino. I also revealed Veldora's self-indulgent acts of late, since I wanted to hear his opinion regarding which one was more difficult to handle. I ranted on and on. Dino demonstrated his enthusiasm by putting his brain on autopilot midway through our conversation. I was going to ask him whether Milim or Veldora was more annoying, yet wound up with no answer. And so, I brought Dino to a research facility. I glanced around in the facility to discover Veldora, who I was looking for, helping Ramiris out. Evidently, he'd been toiling away today. Despite Ramiris ordering him all over the place, this dragon was surprisingly diligent. That Veldora is working. See, told you. While Veldora often complained about having to do work, he nevertheless decided to support Ramiris in the end. He was probably happy to be called mentor all day that he took a predictable liking to Ramiris. The same applied to my requests as well. Ultimately, he would agree to help out. After all, if he weren't easily instigated and manipulated, I wouldn't have nicknamed him Veldora for nothing. Even Vesta, who was in charge of constructing the elemental colossus on the 95th floor, was present. Ramiris did mention before that she was short on personnel, but was that just an excuse to make the project a priority? Ramiris and Veldora were happily going about their business with evil grins on their faces. On the other hand, Vesta appeared utterly drained. He was practically on the verge of death. Is he alright? I was kind of worried. Hey, what's up? How's the research going? With a casual greeting, I entered the facility. Upon noticing my arrival, Vesta immediately stopped writing on the document he had been busy with and stood up. Rimuru-sama has come to see us. Yeah, but don't let me distract you. Speaking of which, are you okay? You look thoroughly exhausted. I'm fine is what I really want to say, but researching down here has been bad for my health. It was apparent that he wanted to get something off his chest. Just when I was about to inquire, Veldora suddenly cut in. "Oh, it's Rimuru." I showed up to help as well. Ramiris begged me to come and help her, so I had no choice. Thanks for the help. She does seem to be lacking manpower. My research was classified as top secret, so I couldn't summon just anyone from level 95 here. I could only bring people that I wholeheartedly trusted. Actually, I just wanted people who wouldn't complain about the upcoming research. After all, I was preparing a bunch of bodies whose sole purpose was to be possessed. And as for who was gonna possess them, those would be demons, of course. People may recognize this as a military threat rather than research. It's best that we keep this a secret from the other nations. Yahoo. Rimuru, I've been waiting for you. Mentor support is like giving me an extra pair of wings. But I still need more help, fast. I knew you'd say that, and for that reason, I brought someone new to assist you. Ramiris, don't you know this guy too? From today onward, Dino-san, who's also a demon lord, is going to cooperate with us. You can rely on him for all sorts of menial tasks. Although Dino didn't exactly give the impression of being an academic type, he could probably still contribute via manual labor. As an amateur, he really shouldn't be an assistant researcher. At most, he would provide help by carrying heavy stuff or collecting data. With that being said, we definitely needed more people to do the grunt work. I thought he would be of use to some extent. Dino appeared to have taken an interest in everything, swiveling his head around to scrutinize the place. He addressed everyone after hearing my introduction. I'm Dino. Although you probably already know at this point, allow me to reiterate, I am one of the demon lords. I personally don't want to work, but I'm being forced to contribute. I'll be in your care now. This person is, how should I put this? Obviously not motivated in the slightest. But that's fine. At least he seems willing to lend us a hand. After a general exchange of greetings, I found out the reason why Vesta was down here, and the current circumstances of his visit. The motive for Vesta's lengthy pilgrimage to my private research facility, located on the 100th floor of the labyrinth, was due to Ramiris's persuasion. As I had suspected, because of the lack of authorized staff, Vesta had to suspend his research and prioritize mine. However, I also heard that Ramiris's so-called persuasion was, in fact, quite effective. She didn't care whether Vesta was available or not. That couldn't be helped. She needed people to handle secretarial tasks such as filing documents or collecting references. Beretta's schedule was already packed. Trainee-san was in charge of managing the labyrinth and taking care of Ramiris's daily life. Veldora didn't carry out the aforementioned job, which was why Ramiris chose Vesta. Will the elemental colossus be okay? I asked. I can't confidently conclude that no problems will arise. But when our work here is finished, Trainee-chan's sisters will have bodies too. We may as well construct the colossus at the same time. I see, that does sound very sensible. Sorry for the trouble, Vesta, I replied with an apology. He responded with a weak yet somewhat enthusiastic smile. I'm still rather disappointed in the failure of the magic armor soldier, but the research here is also. Vesta's internal feelings were conflicted. On one hand, he wanted to resume with his own work, but on the other hand, he was overjoyed to participate in my project. As a researcher, Vesta's interests seemed to be torn between the two. Just the fact that he had these inner turmoils was a testament to how far he had come along. Even now, he demonstrated an example of his maturity. He was able to overcome the initial shock of finding out that Dino was a demon lord, and he was quick to regain his composure. Since he has experienced numerous traumatic scenarios, he had grown a nearly unshakable heart. And because he was exceptionally competent, I assumed that Vesta would probably want to devote himself to his own experiments, but it appeared that I was mistaken. The contents of my project were the reason why Vesta was so exhausted. Please allow me to continue researching here. I want to see the bodies that Rimuru-sama wishes to create through to the end. There have been so many astonishing discoveries every day, to the point that I forgo sleep just so I wouldn't miss out. He informed me without even trying to contain his excitement. It became clear that Vesta's exhaustion was naturally due to sleep deprivation. Despite the ability to restore stamina with magic, the spell wasn't omnipotent. It couldn't just completely replace the need for sleep. You still needed to achieve a minimum amount of rest. That was why I decided to pressure Vesta into taking a break. Because we just so happened to have a new helper, we could hand the chores to Dino and let Vesta get his well-deserved rest. Thus, he began giving Dino a rundown of the job he needed to do. I hoped Dino would have a good time with everyone here. Vesta didn't look afraid, by any means, even though he was talking to a demon lord. His explanation was both concise and natural. Then Dino, Dono, I know this is all very sudden, but you will be my assistant. Please don't aim me. Come now, we are short on time. But I'm a demon lord, you know. So what? What do you mean, so what? Few Vesta sighed, eyes aimed at Dino. Please hear me out. It doesn't matter if you are a demon lord or not here. As you can see, Veldora-sama and Ramiris-sama are both enjoying their work. Yeah, it does seem that way, but how wonderful that you understand. Well then, let us begin. Okay. Vesta was simply phenomenal. I observed the situation for a bit, and there was no indication of any issues. That was when I felt reassured to let them handle it.